Take your mind into the wonderful world of physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual wellness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kinetic Hour. Conversations with you and guests with your host, Kenan Wesley Mason.
You want to know the ticking time bomb within you? It's high blood pressure for sure. Why? Because left unchecked, it can gradually damage the delicate blood vessels in your kidneys, and this can lead to kidney disease. Now, simultaneously, it also can strain the heart, increasing the risk of heart attacks, strokes, as well as heart failure. Now, taking proactive steps to manage blood pressure is crucial to safeguarding both your kidneys as well as heart health, preventing devastating consequences down the line. Now, I should know about this more than anybody because it happened to me. Having high blood pressure for so long and not doing anything about it, it affected my kidneys as well as led to me having congestive heart failure. Peace and love, y'all. GANGSTA HOLISTIC.
What's up, fam? Want to support your heart and lower your blood pressure naturally? Let's talk about two powerful tools, cayenne pepper and CoQ10. Now, high blood pressure, it isn't just a number. It's your body's way of saying it's under stress. So let's show it some care. First, cayenne pepper. It's more than just a spicy ingredient. It helps to open up your blood vessels, improve circulation, and can gently help bring blood pressure down over time. So let's keep using it in our meals. So then we have CoQ10. This is a compound your body makes to help your cells create energy, especially your heart. It's been shown to lower blood pressure and support healthy heart function, especially if you're feeling tired or taking cholesterol meds like statins. Together, they're a great pair. Cayenne gets the blood flowing and CoQ10 fuels the heart. Of course, these work best when combined with a healthy lifestyle, real whole foods, deep breathing, regular movement, and good sleep. So always check with your doctor before starting anything new. But remember, your body wants balance, and there are natural ways to help it get there. Peace and love, fam.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Kinetic Hour. I am your host, Kenan Wesley Mason. Welcome one, welcome all, as we are simulcasting live on Facebook, simulcasting live on Instagram, and simulcasting live on LinkedIn. So welcome to all three platforms. And I'm always grateful to have everyone listening and watching. As always, go to my YouTube channel right here, the Kinetic Hour, and subscribe. That is Kinetic, Kennetic, the Kinetic Hour. And subscribe, click thumbs up, click the notifications, tell everyone that you know to tune in to the Kinetic Hour. I'm always grateful for the new audiences coming by to listen to my podcast. There's 1,000 podcasts that you can listen to. So I'm always grateful. And I thank you again for tuning in to the Kinetic Hour. And also go to my Rumble channel of the same name. And also Kinetic Fit and Wellness Info, Kinetic Fit and Wellness Info for everything health related, physical health, mental health, psychological, and spiritual health. So again, thank you all for tuning in to the Kinetic Hour. And my guest today, and as you can see, the logo there for GANGSTA HOLISTIC, and I'm glad that she's here. She's a healer by purpose and pharmacy technician by profession, mastering the science of pharmacology and the intricate workings of the human body. In 2014, she answered a higher calling, the journey into holistic wellness, natural living, and ancestral healing. And through her personal transformation and studying the works of holistic pioneers like Dr. Sabi, Professor Arnold Ehret, and Dr. Laila Africa. She says that healing is not found in temporary fixes, but in nature, in spirit, and in truth. Now CEO of GANGSTA HOLISTIC, which was founded by her brother, the late Jay Allen, she's continuing his legacy and movement by empowering communities on how to reclaim their health and find peace and power in natural wellness. And once again, I'm glad she's here. Please welcome to the Kinetic Hour, Jasmine, Jazz, Neely.
Hey,
Jazz.
what's going on, Kenan? How you doing?
I'm doing well, and thank you
Good,
for
good.
taking the time out to grace the stage with me here on the Kinetic
Of
Hour.
course, of course.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Um, we have a few things to get to. I got 2 pages worth of notes here, so we can get into it as we go along here. So first thing, before we go into the 2 clips that I just showed, if we can just go back into your journey and what got you into first being a pharmacy tech and then transitioning or transferring into natural health and wellness. What was your journey from then up to where you are now?
So good question. Basically, purpose comes when you're young, but you don't understand what's actually happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a kid, I always wanted to be a doctor. Healthcare was just the thing. I've seen my family, a few family members go through it as far as the healthcare practice. My godfather is a doctor as well. So I've always been around healthcare. So as a kid, hey, I'll just be a doctor. And hey, whatever I got to do, I'm gonna make it happen, right? So of course, life happens. Growing up, becoming a teenager, and also graduating high school, I ended up falling into the pharmacy tech field, just trying to understand what's going to give longevity. And I think I had actually, I remember a specific conversation with my grandfather years ago. I was probably 18, and he said, "You got to find something to do. Find something that's going to be steady, that's going to be around a long time." And he said, people are always going to be sick. And I'm like,
All
you're
right.
right. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he was on to something with that, right? So um, it was like, okay, definitely healthcare. And I'm not a person, I don't do needles. So, being a nurse and thing was just not my thing. So I fell into the pharmacy world. And I went through the education of it and got a clear understanding of just pharmacology overall. So by being able to do that, it opened me up to a world of just medications. So I began to study, I began to understand them, I began to learn the effects that they have, learn how they help, and why they help. And then one day I was on my internship and I got sick. Now, all my life I've dealt with strep throat. So I knew if I got strep throat, I needed a prescription for penicillin. That's all I knew. So that one day as a pharmacy tech during my intern, I got sick. So, hey, I'm going to go to my quick little go to, some penicillin, so I can keep going throughout the day. And I took that dose, and that dose changed everything for me. That one dose, I ended up becoming allergic to penicillins and amoxicillins.
Mm.
So I didn't understand why for 18, 19, 20 years I was able to take something, because I've had this particular sickness every single year, multiple times throughout the year, and it never affected me like that. So that one allergic reaction that I had made me have to think, okay, something about medications, maybe I don't understand. Maybe you're not always good to take these medications for the rest of your life. Something changed in my body specifically. So at that moment, I began to just look for alternative ways to just figure out how to get over sickness, and I fell into a holistic lifestyle, understanding that medications, yeah, they're going to be here forever because they were created to be here forever,
All right.
whereas we still have things that are out in our front yards, out in our backyards, out in the forest that grow from this earth that actually help us to heal things within our body, on the outside of our body, within our brain, within our minds, our mindset, however it is, there's something out there to help. So I fell into the holistic life really heavy when I moved to Georgia. Georgia is just that place where you kind of get a lot of peace. It's a lot of trees everywhere. The land is beautiful. It was just over an overabundance of greatness in Georgia that allowed me to get into that holistic life. So
Mm.
that's where my journey began. I began to just study, study, study. Um, and also studying with my brother. He also, we kind of fell into it at the same time, and I shortly after he fell into the holistic care, I did as well. And then I left and went to Georgia, and that's where I began to just kind of just take in everything I could. I was a sponge.
Ha, use a sponge, yeah.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of me when I first got into holistic health and wellness as well. Just being the sponge, just wanting to learn a little bit of everything, because everything that I'd been taught up until 2002, I'm like, damn, I've been lied to. It's almost like you have this feeling like, damn, I've been told all this stuff, but now I see that there's other options for me, you know, that I didn't learn about in school. All
Right.
these different options of how we can keep the body at its optimal function at
Hmm.
all times
Right.
throughout your entire life.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, being the sponge, and right now I'm still the sponge. I'm still learning. You know, after
Yep.
2 decades. Since
Yeah.
2002, it's 25 now. So yeah, it's been a little over 2 decades for me, and I'm still the sponge, still soaking up information and knowledge from some of the people that you mentioned in your bio as well. So at the top of the show, I showed a couple of clips of you and your brother. And it's kind of funny. I just found those clips right before we went on the air. And the first one with Jay Allen is, it's really funny that he did a clip like this because of his passing. So, real quick, can you tell us what was his official cause of his passing?
So Jay passed away at home due to cardiac arrest.
Okay.
And it's totally different from the heart attack, where the heart attack you have some time to get some type of help, some medical help, and survive that heart attack. Where your cardiac arrest, your heart just stops and you got to be helped within seconds.
Right.
So due to not being able to receive that help, he did succumb to the cardiac arrest at home.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because listening to that, I'm like, wow, because the very thing that led to him passing is the very thing that he's talking about in the clip. So now that Jay is no longer with us, what is your role now moving Gangsta Holistic forward? And then we're going to get into some of the some of the goodies that are a part of Gangsta Holistic. But what is your role at this point right now?
So what I will say, just kind of backing up to Jay, Jay founded Gangsta Holistic,
Yes.
and there was a purpose in that. So just a little backstory on Jay.
Yeah.
At the age of 4, he did have a open heart surgery. The only open heart surgery he had. He was 4 years old.
Right.
So his passing was at 47. So
Yeah.
he lived those 43 years beyond that heart surgery and served his purpose well and in abundance and did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Hmm.
He gave the healing to the people who just were not aware. He was dealing with things that a lot of people deal with: high blood pressures, heart disease, kidney issues. When you're dealing with those things, you don't know what to do besides what the doctors tell you. So Jay took it upon himself to figure it out so he can feed the people. right? So
Right.
that's the mission behind Gangsta Holistic, to making sure that the normal, the common person, the ones that come from the hood, the ones that don't have the access to those resources, to making sure that they have that information available to them, to know that there are other alternatives we can do to better sustain our life and have a better lifestyle, right? So my purpose here today with him being gone is to continue that. That
Mm,
is the basis of Gangsta Holistic. It's about making sure you know you have access to so many other herbs, so many other plants, so many other techniques, just to be able to have a healthier life, right? And
hmm.
what I want to do is to keep that at the forefront, because that's what he was about and that's what I'm about. You know, it just falls into line with what I do, what I am, and who I've become over the years. It's just about natural healing. So
Hmm.
we're here to keep that same the same mission here in healing, and making sure you guys have the resources, making sure people are sharing the word, spreading the word, and telling others about that burdock root, telling others about that black seed oil, telling others about that sea moss, you know, because it's about the lack of information that's out there. We think it's a lack, but it's a lack because nobody talks about it. We got to
Right.
talk about this. So that's what I'm here to do. My main thing has always been about healing the people, of course, and ensuring that the youth have something to look forward to. So the next
Hmm.
thing that we're doing with Gangsta Holistic is something that Jay created. He created, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to get through with fulfilling this mission. And what it is the the youth program that's created. It's called a Mindful Hustle. The youth program is dedicated towards those youth who are having trouble just getting out of the mindset of being stuck, that mindset of being stressed. You know, teenagers go through so many things and we
Yeah.
don't know, but we can guide them towards being able to deal with those things. And then you have young adults who are fresh out of high school, trying to figure out which way to go and trying to deal with their own personal things. So that's where the mindful hustle comes in, teaching you some mental mindset, emotional mindset, giving you some things you can do at home and also in school, out in public, some simple exercises that'll create a healthier lifestyle around you. You know,
Hmm.
and that's what the goal here is. Now we're definitely bringing in some new products, and we're going to bring in a couple of new collaborations with some people. So we're making some changes here, and we're growing it for the better. And it's really because Jay gave us the blueprint. The man had it
Huh.
all set up, Kenny. He had
Yeah.
it all set up, and it's like it was a matter of figuring out, okay, so what didn't he do that we can continue to push forward? And that's all we're
Right.
doing.
Yeah. Just kind of adding a few things to the recipe, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, they were coming anyway, man.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Just adding a few things to the recipe to make it even that much better
Right,
for everyone. You know,
right.
no matter what your ailment may be or your condition, or if you don't have any conditions, if you just want to have some maintenance,
It's
you know,
proactive, right?
to yeah, being proactive, keeping yourself up to par at all times. You know, all of us have ups and downs with our health, but if you can keep it at a steady consistency of you know, bringing in the elements, the minerals that we'll talk about a little bit later, bringing all these things in, it makes a huge difference. No matter whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, doesn't
Yeah,
matter,
yeah.
well into your 70s and 80s, you can still maintain a viable level of health as you progress in life. You mentioned in the bio a few people, some people that I admire as well. You mentioned Dr. Sabi, who's no longer with us. Actually, all three of these gentlemen are no longer
Hmm.
with us.
Yeah.
Um, you mentioned Dr. Laila Africa, who was introduced to me back in 2008, his work. And so I've been kind of checking him out for a while. Actually, I have a couple of his books here too. I got, of course, his Forever Classic right here.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the one.
you know,
That's the
yeah.
one. Yeah.
This is a classic book, African Holistic Health. It's like holistic Bible.
Right, right.
It's like a Bible.
Yeah.
And also this one right here, it's called Melanin: What Makes Black People Black. So this is a great short read and an easy read
Yeah.
for people that want to check that out. And then you mentioned another gentleman, and when I saw the name, I was like, wait a minute, I have one of his books here. I have one of his books here. It's called, it's from Professor Arnold Ehret. Is called The Cause and Cure of Human Illness.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
so
That's a good
this,
one.
yeah. So this book right here, I was like, wait a minute, I got this in my library. And while we're on the subject of Arnold Ehret, I'm going to put something on the screen here because I found this right here. I pulled up an article from. Now when you look at this, this is
Hmm.
from this is from the Los Angeles Times. This is from Sunday, November 10th of 1929.
Yeah.
That's how far back this stuff goes, right here in
Yes.
Los
Right.
Angeles.
Right.
So the headline reads Mucusless Diet Healing System. And it says Professor Arnold Ehret's system of mucusless diet is receiving a tremendous amount of attention from health enthusiasts, both here and abroad. And it goes on to talk about distinguish between the injurious mucus forming foods and the articles of diet which do not clog the digestive tract. And then it talks about one of his books in this new edition at that time. The new edition is enlarged and improved. It includes the famous Ragnar Berg's tables, list of acid binding and acid forming foods, transition diets for those who desire to change from ordinary foods to mucusless diet, many new recipes for non-clogging foods, and the biography of Arnold Ehret. So when I see this, and then I see all these places where he had his right here says eat regularly at the health cafeterias, and I saw all these familiar streets. I'm like, wait a minute, I know where all these places
Right.
are. Right in downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
Uh
so
huh.
when we go back and talk about mucus, because Dr. Sebi was big on mucus as well.
Hmm. Right.
So my first question, going deep diving into this matter, would be what is mucus, first of all, and why should we be concerned about having the overabundance of mucus, and also why is it so overlooked?
That is a good question, especially that last question. Why is it
Yeah,
so overlooked? The
yeah.
first thing that I say is mucus is in so many things we don't even know. That phlegm, we think it's just the snot, we think it's just that cough, or we think it's just that loogie, we like to call it back in the day, that loogie that we spit out on the street. But
Yeah, yeah.
mucus is the disease, in my opinion. That is the disease. If we can fix the mucus, we can fix everything else that follows from the mucus. The dairies, the oils, especially when we're using those seed oils, when we're using the meats. It's in the meat.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's in the boxed and processed foods that we buy, right? So the
Hmm.
mucus is what clogs us up, and I agree with Dr. Sebi. I agree with Dr. Eric. The
Hmm.
mucus
Hmm.
is the problem. That's the root of it, and we have to stop intaking the mucus forms of foods and things of that sort. If we can just change the what we put into our bodies, what we put in our temples, then we can be able to see those results. Because the the way that mucus forms, it takes up so much of our bodies that we think this is regular. We think it's regular to have a cough. We think it's regular to have a quick little runny nose every now and then, or to wake up stuffy and congested, and
Right.
that's just your pure signs of mucus. I'm not sure why we don't talk about that. That's my first thing when somebody says sick, they're sick, or when I'm feeling a particular way and I'm starting to get congested. First thing
Yeah.
I say is, okay, it's the mucus back up.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
get rid of the dairy. I love cheese. That's my problem. I love cheese. So if I can get rid of the
So
dairy,
do I.
then yeah, right. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
getting rid of these things is going to help, but that's not what they tell me when I go to the doctor. The first
Hmm.
thing they want to do is write a prescription. Okay, it seems let me check and see what's going on because I need to see, like Dr. Africa said, it's the five senses that they use, right? It's the five senses they're utilizing to go ahead and diagnose you. So they want to hear it, they want to see it, they want to feel it, and it's like it's right there. It's coming out my nose. You see it.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, why aren't we
Yeah.
addressing the fact that the mucus is the problem from the foods that I'm eating? And I think that's where we start with the mucus. Just eliminate that altogether.
And I think it should be known that when we do have the snots and all of that, that's our body actually releasing all of the toxic material that our immune system has gone and kind of taken care of for us when we don't even know that it's happening. And then we see all the stuff coming out of our nose, or like you said, you're getting all the loogies out. This is your body already doing its part in trying to get all this the toxic waste, the toxic material, like you said, the oils from vegetable oils, the canola
Canola
oils, and
oil. Yeah. Love it.
all of the oils that we typically use to fry our foods or saute our foods. And then the body really doesn't know how to utilize this as energy or as an energy source. So what happens with the body? It starts to form a protector, a protector.
Hmm.
Because the body is about protecting us at all costs, keeping us alive at all costs. So if we stop taking, or not if, but when we stop taking in the mucus forming foods, then the body will have the opportunity to rid itself of all the other
Hmm.
stuff. And you don't have to be perfect with it, but is
Right.
if we when we know and have the information, most of us are lacking in the information because, like you said earlier, it's out there. All the information we need is out there. And so mucus, I've heard Dr. Sabi on almost all of his lectures talk about the mucus forming, and then Professor Eric talking about mucus as well. We talking about 100 years ago. And as far as Professor Eric, he was talking about how this this was the standard back then of healing before
Mm.
pharmaceuticals kind of took over with the American Medical Association and the whole John Rockefeller formation of how we see medicine today. Everything has its origin. So,
Yeah.
Dr. Professor Eric and also Dr. Royal Rife, he also had a facility in Los Angeles as well because he was healing people through frequencies. And
Hmm.
so mucus is definitely one of those things that we need to be aware of, at least be aware of.
Yes.
When we have common colds and flus and all of this stuff, we don't have to have any of that. We don't have to have any
No,
of
we
that.
don't.
What is the best way that you've come across to um, to kind of reduce the amount of mucus that we accumulate, that you've come across over the years?
So my thing, like I said, my thing was cheese. That is a huge problem for me. It's always been, even as a kid, right? But my main thing is juicing. If we can juice this stuff to get it out of us, we'll be okay. Like when it comes to that mucus, they have that over the counter medication, Mucinex. It's a
Mucinex. Yeah, yeah,
suppressant.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, that
yeah.
suppresses the mucus in you,
Right.
right?
That's right.
Because it tells you it's going to suppress the cough, it's going to suppress
Mm.
the congestion, it's going to suppress it. But I don't want to
Hmm.
suppress it. I want to get this out of me. If I can get some
Right.
celery juice in me, that'll get that stuff flushed up out of me. Get some watermelon juice. It's summertime. It's autumn. Watermelon season's almost
Oh,
over, but
that's the
just get those
best.
things in it that'll flush it out of us. And my thing, the juices is what I'm learning to kind of lean on right now. I'm
Yeah.
working with my beet juice. Don't talk about me, but I'm working with beets, man. That's tough, you
It
know.
is.
So,
I can't
so
do beet
I'm
juice. I
yeah,
tried. I tried.
yeah. That one's a beast. It's a different world with that beet juice. But the
Yes. Yes.
juices will help cleanse the body. It's still tasty. It gives you the nutrients that you need. It keeps you refreshed. It keeps you hydrated. So you don't have to be over overwhelmed with that mucus. So you don't have to be overwhelmed with the toxins and the waste
Hmm.
within us.
Hmm.
We got to continuously find a way to detox that stuff out of us. And
Yeah.
it's different ways, even dandelion tea. I remember one of my friends a few months ago, I went to her house and she made some dandelion tea and we were just drinking it. And I'm like, this is good. And she's like, yes, dandelion tea. That's going to be a good detox. And it's like nighttime, and it's
Hmm.
nighttime. So I'm like, oh, darn. Okay. So we got to drink things that flush us out to
Yeah.
get that stuff up out of us. And that's how I go about it. I like to do the juicing, and I'll do my teas and stuff, herbal teas. And especially when I'm feeling congested, I have a particular cayenne, ginger, turmeric, lemon. Just make a concoction of these herbs that'll
Yeah.
get that stuff up out of me. Just
Yeah.
get it out.
Yeah. Juicing is definitely big. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna. I want to stay on juicing just for a minute. I'm gonna go here. So this is the Gangsta Holistic website. So when you go here, you have a few things here. I want to go here. So you mentioned juicing. So squeeze the
Yeah,
day, the ultimate
yeah.
guide to juicing. So for me, when it comes to juice, I like to uh, do carrot juice with with barley grass.
Oh,
That's
nice.
that's that's one of my main go-tos. Carrot juice with barley grass. Um, I've done carrot juice with celery, which is great.
Hmm.
Um, I love juicing my apples as well. Apple juice, and sometimes I'll mix it with apple cider vinegar, and
Hmm.
that way it's like a kind of like a double punch, you know,
Yeah,
with the acid with the acid alkaline balance, because you have to have both. A lot of people try to get so alkaline, but the truth of the matter is that your body is designed to be both alkaline and acidic.
yes,
You just have to
yes,
have the correct balance. Your stomach has acid. It has
yeah.
hydrochloric acid to start to digest your food. Your saliva, that's an acid. And so when it comes to juicing, those are my two favorites to go to. I don't know if you have a specific recommendation when it comes to juicing for people that may come to Gangsta Holistic. But
Yeah, yeah,
those,
yeah.
but those are
So
my go tos.
perfect, perfect. Now I just got a strawberry juice. Okay, now one thing I have
Okay.
not tried that through all the juices, I did a strawberry juice from this farmer, and I was like, whoa, whoa, that was rich. It was so rich. So I think strawberry juice is gonna be my new favorite. It's so rich. It was
Yeah.
just pure sweetness, and it
Yeah.
it was man, it was so refreshing. But I I believe this squeeze the day has it all. It's got
Hmm.
everything. Whatever it is that you like, what you don't like, use it, even if you don't
Yeah.
like it,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
beneficial to you. The squeeze of the day is going to give you a few different recipes, more than a few different recipes for juicing.
Hmm.
To be able to just give you some simple things to juice. Three ingredient types of juices. We also
Okay.
have a more that's on our website, of course, as you've seen, but we do
Yes.
have
Yeah. Yeah.
another juicing and smoothie book that's actually given about I think it's about 100 recipes that we have
Okay.
not put out yet, but we got so many ebooks to put out, Kenan. It's like
Yeah.
it's so much, but we'll be putting
Yeah.
out more so that we can keep those healthy recipes going for the juices and the smoothies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to go back to the website. Actually, I'm going to go back a few times as we go along because
Mhm.
you have so many great things. I'm going to go here. So let's go here because I learned about CMOS just recently. Actually, maybe actually during the pandemic, I learned about CMOS and some of the benefits of it, and I bought CMOS. At the time, I bought it from a different company. I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know GANGSTA HOLISTIC was selling that as a product. But I tried CMOS, and like you said about the taste, there are certain uh, herbs or fruits or vegetables that might not be so attractive to the palate, but they are, like you said, it's beneficial anyway if you can get it into the body. So what are the benefits? As we see, we have GMOS here. So what are the benefits of CMOS? Now, is this what they call Irish CMOS, or is it from a different source?
Yeah, that's going to be the Irish sea moss here.
Okay.
And that's our raw sea moss that we have. We've been having that for a while. That one is, of course, something you have to do on your own. It's very
Yeah.
simple, not a hard process. Not everybody likes to do it yourself, So, of course,
Right.
people go to the ready made or gel sea moss. But sea moss definitely has those 92 minerals, right? And if,
Yeah.
if our body needs, was it 102 minerals? to
Uh-huh.
to balance
Uh-huh.
out. And the sea moss has 92. It sounds like I need 2, 3 more herbs to throw in there, and I'm good on the balancing,
Hmm.
right? On the maintaining that body day to
Right.
day. But that G moss is definitely going to be um, something that you have to know it's got what you need,
Yeah.
because the texture might not be flavorable. The texture might not be preferred that you come up
Yeah.
with, right? But to me, it's a no brainer. 92
Mhm.
minerals, give me something that's got more in it so I
Right.
can just add a few more things into it, right? So we do want to like to promote that CMOS. We are currently having a sale on our raw CMOS at $14, which is half the price. And buy it up, do it up, show us how you're doing it. I've made it myself a few times. Again, I prefer to already have it made because I
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
tech
Yeah.
the consistency and that texture is hard for me to get. So I'm like, am I
Right.
over blending or pulling out nutrients? I don't want to pull out too much. So I end
Right.
up having like a glob that you like kind of chunk in and chunk into your smoothie and stuff. So
Hmm.
it's cool, but I like it a lot more smooth in texture. Now, what we are doing as a new item, we're bringing in ready-made gel moss, and
Mm.
that sea moss is our vendor. Excellent, Kenan. It's excellent.
Okay.
It's like you take some Jolly Ranchers, you melt them down, and now
All
you got
right.
a syrup of sea moss. The
Yeah.
texture
Yeah.
is and the consistency in that texture is amazing. So we are bringing that on. We're looking forward to that in the next month or so, to bring that to the people so that you guys can get that gel sea moss. And we have it in original flavor. We're gonna have natural fruit infused sea moss as well. That's going to be ready. So we're working on that. We're going to put a label on that. We're going to ship those out, and soon we'll be getting those locally to everybody too.
Yeah. And yeah, a lot of people are going more into buying the CMOS gel because, like you said, it's already made up. You don't have to do anything with
Yeah.
it. It's already in its right
Mhm.
form and concentration and everything that you
Right.
need. So see, and it already has the 92 elements that the body needs. Most of the time, illness occurs in many, if not most people, because of nutritional deficiencies, because we're so deficient in many of those 92 elements that are otherwise missing in the body. So when we start to put them back in, the body could be like, oh wow, we finally got some materials. You know, it's like building a house. You can't build
Yeah.
a house unless you have the right materials and the right foundation, you know. So sea moss is definitely one of the go-tos. And then right here, the one of the ultimate products of Gangsta Holistic, if not maybe the number one product, is this right here, which was given to me by Jay a few months back before he passed away. So tell us about black seed oil, or what's called the black seed experience. The black seed experience. Tell us about that and what are the benefits?
All right. That is our number one seller.
Okay.
Gangsta Holistic was bought up about black seed oil. This is how it came about, the
Yeah,
black
yeah,
seed
yeah,
experience. And
yeah.
Jay, he was really, really clever with how he named things. So
That's
the
right.
black seed
That's right.
experience. So
Yes.
yeah, right. Okay. So we have the cold press black cumin seed.
Human seed.
And
Yeah.
what that is it has the healing effects that's out of this world, Ken. And basically, you have so many different brands of black seed oil. And then we have a huge world. Depending on where you're getting where your source is going to determine the healing benefit within that oil. So
Mm-hmm.
we have
Mm-hmm.
a amazing vendor where we have it comes cold pressed, which is the most effective way to receive it, and it has a thymoquinone, which is also known as the TQ level. That is the healing property within black seed oil. That's the main active compound. It has ours has 3.6%. Okay, now
Yeah.
your thymoquinone ranges can go up and down depending on your source. Okay,
Okay.
now we have sources who have zero point 0.2. You have sources who have 1.2. But when it comes to ours at 3.6, you gotta know that that's the best on the market there. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
give the
Mm-hmm.
healing that you need internally and externally. Man, I use that black seed for everything. At first, I was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
consuming it. 1 to 2 drops under the tongue. Make sure it gets directly into the bloodstream. And that's the normal way to do it when you're consuming it. You can take up to 6 drops a day if you're feeling sick. I do six drops when I start to feel a little sniffle come on, right? But
Okay.
with the black seed oil too that we have, the best part about it is if you almost cut your finger off, like I did a few months ago, almost cut the tip of my finger off. I couldn't get it to stop bleeding. So I'm just sitting there. I was cooking. I had to stop cooking, turn everything off. I'm holding on to a napkin and I'm just like, is it ever going to stop? So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
goes about 20 minutes and I'm still bleeding about 20 minutes. So I said, all right. So I said, ding, 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 black seed oil. I'm gonna just do it. Let's
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just see what it does. So I went ahead and put a small drop on there, and it actually stopped the bleeding. And
Mm-hmm.
in the next morning, my skin started to close up. It started to heal
Yep.
that
Yep.
cut. It was a deep cut. That
Yeah.
wasn't a regular, just a paper cut. That was a deep cut. So I live by that black seed oil. Okay. Jay put me on and I didn't understand it. And I was like, you are hype about this, dude. And that was the
Yeah. Right.
thing. It
Yeah.
helps so well with the heart issues, the kidney issues, his high blood pressure. That really changed everything within the holistic realm for him. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa, this is the one. Black seed oil. Some people call it an all heal oil, and I believe it. I
Yes.
believe it. I've
Yes.
seen so many people come off of their medications by just taking that black seed oil daily. My own father takes that black seed oil daily. And we're not going to talk about what he used to do back in the day, but it
Right.
works. You don't have to
Yeah.
take those medicines for the rest of your life. You do it, guarantee. You do it for about 90 days straight, and you come tell me about them results. Take your
Hmm.
levels before, do it for 90 days, and tell me about those results again. I can guarantee you that's gonna do everything you needed to do, and it's supposed to do for your body.
Yeah. I had an interview. Actually, I interviewed Dr. Michael Gaeta out of Colorado. He's a uh, doctor of acupuncture and Oriental medicine, and he's real big on black seed, black seed oil. And even he said that it can be considered a panacea, meaning that it's like a
Hmm.
heal all, you know, one of
Yes.
the many that we know of around the world, black seed
Right.
oil, or in its raw form, cumin. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Human.
Yes. And
Yes.
yeah, he said that, when it's, and like you said, in the most purest form possible, depending on where it's harvested and where you get it and how it's processed, it literally can be, if you take it in a certain proportion over a period, like you said, 90 days, it can definitely be what's considered a panacea, you know,
Yeah.
basically healing
Yep.
anything and everything, any and all illnesses
Yeah.
known and unknown. you know
Yeah.
so
No, really. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm glad that he has that, and I'm glad
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we're able to know that it is that powerful, that it can heal, and it's okay if you take more than one or two drops. You're not going to overdose on taking too much black
Right.
seed oil.
Right.
you know,
Right.
I mean, you can
Right.
overdose on taking too many heart medications. You know,
Yes.
you can overdose on taking all these different medications and all these different pills and prescriptions, um, overdose, or you have your own heart attack because of the stress that you're putting on your heart by taking all these medications,
It is.
when you can
Yes.
just as simply take something like this, or like you said, the sea moss over time, or juicing. um, if most people become more patient with themselves, because we live in a quick fix
Yeah.
microwave society, we want everything last
Yeah.
night,
Yep.
yesterday. So
Yes, we do. Right.
many of us don't want to take the time out to actually get to know ourselves internally, and how our bodies function internally. And you don't have to know everything like a physician, but if you know some basics about how your body functions, and why am I getting the sniffles? You know, why am I getting the common cold every 2 to 3 months? Why am I having
Right.
the stomach flu and all this stuff? No matter who I'm around, you could be around 10 people that have a flu. You don't have to be the 11th person if your immune system
Yep.
is up to
That's
par,
true.
you know?
Hmm.
So all of this is significant, and I'm glad that you have all of this available for the people. And you're in Georgia, correct? You're
I am back in California.
Oh, you back in California?
I
Okay.
am back. Yep.
Because I know in
Hmm.
Georgia, because we mentioned you talked about herbs, and I want to get your take on CoQ10 and cayenne pepper. But I interviewed back in 2016. I interviewed Dr. Betty Martini, and she said
Hmm.
there's something called black snake root, and she said it only grows in Georgia.
Oh.
so
Oh,
there's
wow.
all so
Wow.
there
I have to
so
check
there's
that out.
all kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's passed away now, but when we interviewed her, she was like, "Yeah, if you want to get to healing cancer and all kind of stuff, go to black snake root." I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's
I've
so
never heard of that.
yeah, there's so many herbs that many people have never heard of or even touched before,
Yeah.
all over the
Yeah.
world. There's just so many that
Yeah.
most of us never get a chance to become aware of, because we've been thoroughly conditioned to believe that when you have an illness of any kind, the first place that you need to go to is your primary physician for all the
Yep.
answers. For all the answers. Um,
Yeah.
so, so let's go real quick to, because the clip that I showed at the top of the show, you were talking about CoQ10, which I used to take several years ago, CoQ10 and cayenne pepper. I used to take cayenne pepper pills. You know, they have them in pill form, capsule form,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
can get them at
Mm-hmm.
different temperature. They have different levels of temperature. That
Yeah.
so your blood vessels can dilate more. So can you go a little deeper into what CoQ10 and cayenne pepper, and what are the benefits of the two, and can you use them in conjunction? Can you use them together?
Yeah. So Jay Allen was the I mean, he lived by that CoQ10 and cayenne pepper for the heart. And of course,
Yes, yes.
just for the viewers, of course, herbs can be used for so many different benefits, just depending on what's going on, right? So yes, that CoQ10 is great for the heart. The cayenne, great for the heart. The CoQ10 itself is a great natural antioxidant,
Yeah.
and the that that antioxidant, what it does, it's going to help in the heart to help with the mitochondria production.
Mm. Mm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
mitochondrial production.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so now what we want to do with that CoQ10, take it, of course, in conjunction with your cayenne peppers, and of
Okay.
course, we're still working on the heart, right? And
All
what the
right.
cayenne it does for you, it helps with reducing the blood pressure. It helps with improving the circulation
Mm-hmm.
in your heart. And so by taking those two together, you're able to help with your heart function, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that was Jason's thing. Of course, he had the heart function issue. So it's
Yeah.
about doing what's best for the heart in conjunction. And we can take cayenne pepper all day long, but we may need to pair it with something else, right? So when you pair it with the CoQ10, you got that combo, that karate kick for you, and it's going to
Yeah.
do
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly what it's supposed to do in helping to improve the heart function, helping to improve your circulation, improve your blood pressure, and of course the blood pressure is in relation to the heart, and if we can
Right.
keep the stress out of the way too, and by taking that CoQ10 and that cayenne pepper and no stress, oh, come on now, we got a strong pumping heart. And
Yeah.
again, not
Yeah.
only taking it when those symptoms are happening, or when it's a problem
Yeah.
within your system, but taking it to be proactive. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
my thing. I like the proactive approach rather than the reactive approach, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the proactive approach, and because it's all about prevention. If you can prevent yourself from developing, all illnesses are developed over time, um, depending on your environment, and what your
Hmm.
daily activities are, what your recreational activities are, whether you drink a lot of alcohol, you smoke, all sorts of things, all the food, all the processed food that we eat, year after year after year after year. There's people
Yeah.
that are, um, that have these protruding stomachs because their colons are so backed up, almost like, when you have clogged pipes in your house, you call the plumber right away. You know,
Right.
um, when your check engine light comes on in your car, you take it to the shop right away, most of the time.
Right.
But when it comes to the
Right.
human body, when our check engine light comes on, we wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and let all the symptoms fester and accumulate and become worse. And the
Yep.
symptoms start to expand more and more and more and more and more and more,
Mhm.
until there is no such thing as circulation. You have poor circulation.
Yeah.
The blood is sludged, full of all the toxic material. The blood is moving slow. Diabetes can develop because of the poor circulation. And then, worst case scenarios, people are having their limbs amputated, and uh,
Mhm.
these are worst case scenarios that can be prevented when we, like you said, be proactive and take the
Mhm.
preventative measures that we need to. And these are simple things that we can do. You can go to your local health food store, or even better, grow your own cayenne peppers.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have friends who laugh at me because, you know, if it can take some cayenne, throw a dash on there, throw a pinch of that cayenne on it. And,
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the heat. I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind it. It is what it
Mm-hmm.
is because once
Mm-hmm.
that cayenne get in there, it's gonna do what it's supposed to do. I just gotta get it down. And
Yeah, right.
that's the main thing. A lot of people don't like that cayenne because it's tough. It has a little kick to it. I
Oh,
get it. I
it's
get
yeah,
it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
my main thing is if it don't touch your tongue, just get it right to the back, and you'll be all right.
Ah,
You'll
yeah, yeah,
be
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, cayenne pepper is I'd rather use cayenne pepper over standard black peppercorns. Even if you grind
Oh
them
my
up,
goodness, yes.
yeah, I'd much rather use cayenne pepper, not only because of its heat value, but because of the texture of the color. When you get certain colors
Yeah.
into your body, it heightens your energy wheels. We call them chakras. So if you can
Yeah.
get some
Yeah.
of that, if you can get some of those elements into your body on a regular basis for preventative measures, it'll definitely open up your blood vessels to where the heart can definitely pump a little easier. It doesn't have to pump as fast. Um, your stress levels will come down over time because your body is not in such the fight or flight mode as most of us are all day, every day. Work stress,
All
home
day.
stress.
Yep.
Um, you know, uh, the the boss is on my back about this deadline and that deadline. I got to turn this in. I got to turn that in. Um, so all of these factors play a role in our stress levels, which brings me to another element. I'm going to go back to, matter of fact, I'm going to go here because I pulled up a few things. Yeah, we're going to go here. So I'm going to go, I'm going to put this up on the screen here. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go here. So when we talk about uh, right here, mental health or any type of stress is going to alter how all of your organs function, whether it's stress from outside influences or whether it's stress from the food that we take in. So when I see something like this manifesting mental strength, what role does mental health play in our overall health from day to day? How important is mental health?
Man, mental health is so important, and um it's something that we have to continue to keep the conversations going about. It's funny you brought up a
It's
ebook
overlooked.
that shoot the people can't even get. The people can't even get this ebook right now. But
Right.
so yeah, so
Yeah.
when it comes to mental health, the thing about it is we think that the therapies that we go through the healthcare system will be it. That's not
Hmm.
it. I've
Hmm.
I've been there. I've had the therapy, and therapy does help. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
shut it down as if it doesn't. It definitely helps. It does
Hmm.
exactly what it's supposed to do. But again, it does what it's supposed to do in that moment.
In the
I
moment.
had
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
the work after to be able to maintain my mental balance and my mental
Hmm.
peace.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
in a sense, I think mental health is something that affects us all. And if we leave it untreated, then it becomes an illness within the
Yeah.
body. Okay.
Right.
Holistically, we have to look at the entire body, inside and out. What you're dealing with in the environment that's directly in front of you or that you're sitting in every day. And then also what you're putting into the body, right? So the
Hmm.
mental health comes from all of that. If I'm
Yeah.
eating, and this is just in my opinion, if I'm eating in abundance of a meats, let's say
Mm.
I got lamb chops, I got fried chicken, I got Cornish hens, I got all these different
All
meats,
right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the energy from those meats are not providing me and my body the energy I need. Now I'm in a frenzy. Now I'm running around with
Mm-hmm.
my chicken, my head cut off like a chicken, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
figure it out, because I done consumed my body the day before a conference with a gang of meats when I should
Yeah.
have been having some type of fruits coming through my body to be able to
Yeah.
give me that mental clarity, right?
Uh-huh.
So again,
Uh-huh.
what we put in our body is going to affect what our mental is going through. Same
Yeah.
thing of what we're doing around us, whatever's going on in the environment can affect what you're going through mentally. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's um
Mm-hmm.
it's a sense of when I went to move to Georgia, I ended up getting homesick. Okay, so
Okay.
we hear that word homesick, and you're like, what is homesick? What
Yeah.
is that? It is a mental state that I was in where I was not okay where I was in an unfamiliar space. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know what I was around. I was figuring it out. So I became homesick because I'm like, I want to go home to something familiar,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I didn't go into a state of depression. It was just the missing that peace from being around the family, missing those moments of seeing the people grow up. It was literally the environment that I put myself into, this new environment that affected my mental for a moment, and that's where I had to overcome and say, okay, so I got to get out of that mindset. I got to change it to being able to finding a lot more happiness in this move, a lot more happiness in this new state that I'm in. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I began to fall into the hiking trails and the waterfall trips and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
Georgia is a beautiful place, like I said before. They
Yeah.
are kind of, I feel like the state was kind of dropped into the forest, so
Okay.
I
Okay.
began to find these hiking trails that led to waterfalls. And if the hiking trails are leading to waterfalls, that's perfect. I can find space for me mentally, space to be able to breathe, space to be able to think, right? So
Yeah.
that mental piece, that mental part of it was what I needed to fix to be able to keep going in Georgia. And
Mm. Mm-hmm.
that was the piece I didn't know in California. I didn't know about what I needed to fix mentally in California because I was in it. I was comfortable. Sometimes
Yeah.
we got to get uncomfortable to grow, right? So it was putting
Yes.
myself
Yes.
into an uncomfortable space to be able to grow into a mental peace. So today
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't
Mm-hmm.
interrupt my peace if you tried it because I won't allow the external factors to affect what I have going on. Because
Yeah.
again, if you interrupt my peace, if I get angry, I get upset, guess what else goes up too? That blood pressure is going to start to
Yeah.
rise, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
all about fixing the mental because the mental goes with the physical. It's
Yeah.
all hand in hand. It's all connected.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is all connected. And me being in as a holistic psychology practitioner, you're right about the how therapy operates. All I am is the facilitator. I mean, I can give you assignments and ask you certain questions on where you want your life direction to go and uh, what you see for your future or what you foresee for your future. Um, how did you get to this point? Uh, what have been all the pitfalls and all the different discrepancies that have brought you to this point to needing or wanting therapy for yourself? And so it is all encompassing. Your mind controls your body, not the other way around. And so
Yep.
mind, once you get your mind up to par and take some accountability and responsibility for where your life journey has taken you, positive or not so positive, once you take responsibility and implement what's been suggested, then you can kind of notice, oh, okay, yeah, I can fix some of these things in my life. I can be better in life. I can make my life journey a little more smoother as I progress in life. And I always tell my clients, for a little while, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
you have to be
Yes.
comfortable with being
Yes.
uncomfortable, even if it's for a short period of time. Most people don't want to feel the pain of anything. They want to go through all of life like it's all peaches and cream, and there are no pitfalls. We're here on this earth to have this experience to learn. Therefore, by default, we're all going to make errors in life. That's just our natural genetic makeup as human beings, or as spirit beings, or as light beings. All of us are here to learn something about ourselves and about life and its operation and how you can live within it. And so when mental health parallels with the physical health, then yeah, like you said, there's nothing that can interrupt my peace. Nothing. There's nothing that can
Yeah.
interrupt the peace. And so I'm glad you mentioned that. I got a couple of more things here before we begin to wrap up. And I want to thank you for taking the time out to be here as well, to give us all the great information that you've given us thus far. Um, I'm gonna go. Let's see, where did I want to go? Oh, I want to go back to the website real quick because I'm gonna go here. So back to the website. Um, there's something here that I saw that was really interesting. I'm gonna go back to the shop here. So right here, from the streets to the stovetop. So I thought this was really
Yep.
interesting. So when people start to learn about how great food can be in its natural form, even if you do cook some of your food, which I don't have any problem with cooking food. I'm not necessarily the raw foodist, although I do recommend eating certain things raw for the purposes of health. But when it comes to us just enjoying the food that we do eat, tell us about right here, from the streets to the stovetop, because I thought this was pretty cool. What can we find? Uh, what can we find in this? Is this like another ebook here?
That is an ebook. It's an
Okay.
ebook. It gives you some quick, healthy, um, vegan or vegetarian alternatives to
Okay.
be able to make some good, delicious meals. My main thing about food is open up your palate.
Yeah.
Open up that palate. If we stick to Jack in the Box, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, even I can even go into restaurants, Chili's, Fridays. If we stick into
Mm-hmm.
those types of places, we'll only know a particular type of food,
Mm-hmm.
and most of
Mm-hmm.
it is not anything we should be intaking, right?
Yeah.
So, Streets to the Stovetop was J-Bo's way of teaching you how to find alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
Gives you, whether that be through mushrooms, whether that be through just utilizing parsley in a different way. It's like we gotta have some type of recipes. I'm not
Yeah.
big on cooking. I'm not a big cooker,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I will say when I do decide to cook, the first thing I do is I go to somebody's farmer's market. I go and find the freshest produce I can, find a meat alternative. I've been looking for some lion's mane for so long, so
Mm. Mm.
lion, I like mushrooms. I enjoy
Yeah. Yeah.
mushrooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not super beneficial, but it's a great alternative to,
Oh,
instead of
absolutely.
going with the steak, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if we don't know there are alternatives out there, we're not going to get them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a specific farmers market in Atlanta known as your DeKalb Farmers Market. Okay, it's in
Okay.
DeKalb County. The best
Okay.
farmers market I've seen over there. Okay, when I
Okay.
say they have so many different alternatives, I seen some things I've never heard of, and it's like, whoa, what is that? And it's
Yeah.
like we don't know about those alternatives because they're not found in your local grocery store, or they're not highly advertised in your local neighborhoods,
Right.
especially in our underserved communities where we don't have much resource. It's like we get fed the common sad diet. What's that standard
Hmm.
American diet? We get fed that,
Right. That's
and
right.
that's what we know. And I mean, it's fed to us from generation to generation to generation. And guess
Yeah.
what? That's
Yeah.
why, and from what I teach, from what even Jay, what we teach is uh those diseases, they're not hereditary.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not in your genetics. They're
Hmm.
because everybody generation to generation to generation is eating Wendy's and McDonald's,
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
breakfast and then for dinner.
Yeah.
It's all about having those alternatives. Streets to the Stove Top is I think that's the newest ebook he's put out. And
Okay.
we're going to keep it up because it has some great alternative meals, ideas, and things that you can do at your home, and you probably already have some of that stuff in your home anyway.
Hmm.
You just don't know how to use it. You got to find other
Yeah.
ways to use this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And cooking is a part of being creative. And again, using your mind to create new dishes for yourself. Like you said, opening up the palate and
Yes,
finding what is best for you and your taste buds. Because we're not all going to like the exact same things, but if you can kind of
right.
broaden the scope a little bit, just kind of broaden the scope a little bit, and just add a few things to your overall dish. Like you said, just put a few pinches of cayenne pepper on your meal. Just to add that little kick to it. um, there's plenty of other herbs that you can use. Some people use dill to flavor certain
Yeah,
foods. Uh,
oregano. Even
Oregano.
oregano is a quick fix.
Yes.
That's the benefits of oregano so in abundance. And
Yeah.
so many people, especially today, they talk about the oil of oregano, which I
Yeah.
love it, by the
Hmm.
way. I'm
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
so much of a fan of how it makes you feel, but that
Yeah.
little herb, that little spice that our grandparents were using for years.
Yes.
These things
Yeah.
have been in our families for years. We
Yeah.
just decided to put it on pizza or something,
Ah,
and it's,
right.
it's like,
Right.
you get what I mean? Instead of putting it on the pizza, let's put it on the salad over here, and it's
Yes.
still going to give you that same good flavor.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, oregano. And I've grown different herbs. I've grown parsley and I've grown cilantro and rosemary and different
Mhm.
herbs that you can add to your food. You can make vegan tacos. You can use jackfruit and
Yeah,
there's all sorts
yeah,
of different ways that you
yeah,
can have something that will be parallel to a McDonald's
yeah.
or a Taco Bell or
Right,
whatever the fast food that you
right.
love. You can always make the healthier alternative for yourself. There's always another option.
Yeah.
Always.
Yes, it is.
There's always another option. So the last
Yeah.
thing I'm going to bring up here um, is this right here. We're going to just kind of go back to the beginning, and I'm just going to bring this up. Uh, so just to sum up, um, because again, this is what these are the challenges that Jason had throughout his life, and he fought a great fight. And for those that have heart conditions or kidney conditions, hypertension, if you will, can you just give us some pointers or tips? And you've mentioned some of them, but it's okay to repeat because as if we keep hearing these same answers over and over again, it may finally stick for some of us. So can you go over some things that we can do to be, as you say, proactive to prevent us from having heart conditions or even kidney conditions? What can we do to make the heart and the kidneys function at the most optimal level?
Um, this ebook is very good. And it's something Jay lived by.
Hmm.
That was his. That's what he dealt with. He dealt with the heart failure, the hypertension, the kidney disease, and
Yeah.
everything that's in this book. He did himself.
Okay.
They do say that when you're faced with kidney disease, you don't live too much longer beyond that diagnosis.
Okay.
And like you said, Jay fought a great fight.
Yeah.
And um, it's more healing that he provided in this book that somebody else will need today. You know, um,
Absolutely.
to know that uh, garlic, crushed up garlic and some
Oh
pepper will
yeah,
help
yeah,
to
yeah,
quickly
yeah,
reduce your blood pressure.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know
Garlic.
that you get what I mean?
Yes,
It's
yes,
the
yeah, yeah,
simple things. I'm
yeah,
sure you got a clove of garlic in your kitchen with some black pepper. It's the simple things that we can do. Some quick celery, not celery. I'm sorry. Some quick parsley juice.
yeah. Oh
Because
yeah.
guess what? It helps your kidney function, and it's
Mm,
a great detoxifier. Get all
yeah,
those toxins and waste up out of you.
yeah,
And the quick adding in vitamin D3, vitamin K2, some magnesium. Those three as a combo are like kickers. They're gonna kill everything that's going on within the heart with that connects to the kidneys. And these are things that Jay was taking on a day to day. And of course, in moderation because he would switch through different ones.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that garlic and the pepper was the such a simple fix to the blood pressure. it, it's
Garlic.
right there
Yeah,
in your home, right? It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
you never really understood how many things we have in our pantry right now that
yeah,
actually help. And
yeah,
that's what he was about. He
yeah.
made it to where it was like, yo, you can go in the pantry right here, grab something, and that'll help with your heart. You can go over here, grab something that's going to help with your blood pressure real quick. And that's what I believe he was excelling in the easy things, the quick
Mm-hmm,
fixes,
mm-hmm.
the parts that are available to us,
Yeah,
especially within
yeah,
our communities. And I
yeah.
also put this in here, our get low tea. That
Oh yeah,
right
yeah, yeah,
there helps with the right, that
yeah,
helps
yeah.
with the blood pressure to reduce the blood pressure, and it's all about what's in it. Elderberry. We talk about elderberry. People hear
Right,
elderberry
right.
all the time, especially when you got a
Yeah,
cold. But
yeah,
who
yeah,
knew that elderberry helps with the heart and some
yeah,
blood
yeah,
pressure?
yeah,
It reduces it.
yeah.
It's like the simple things, especially within that ebook. It's just a simple thing that's going to help to change your lifestyle, to change your life, to change the way you're living. So that others can continue to enjoy your company, enjoy your presence. I
Mm.
think I said on the post a couple of months ago, people are living to see you live as well because they are looking at you to figure out what is it that you're doing. How did you
Right.
do that? And that was Jason's thing because people wanted to know. They want to know how did he do that, and to this
Mm.
day they still want to know how did he do that because it's unheard of,
Yeah,
especially with heart failure. That's unheard of.
yeah.
You guys don't see the things that people go through when they're dealing with these diagnoses within their life. It affects them, and
Yeah.
it affected Jay. It affected my brother. But what he brought to the world was there is hope. There is a way out. There is a way to get off of this stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yes, he said it. He lived by it. Gangsta Holistic was, I believe, 2019 was when he established it. And with that, it's like, remember, I said earlier, he had his first open heart surgery at 4, the only one he had, 4 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's ways to figure it out so you can continue living.
Mm.
It's out there. It's out there for us. We just got to want to do the work. And Jay did the work, so we're going to keep pushing out these books, these ebooks, keep pushing out those products, natural healing. We're going to push holistic living, and just keeping forward in life and doing better, because when you know better, you got to do better.
Got to do better. Yeah. Yeah, I actually have a concentrated elderberry syrup that I bought from one of the websites that I get some of my supplements from, and because it's concentrated, it's pretty powerful stuff. So you only have to put a little bit. I put a
Yeah.
little bit in my smoothies to give it that fruit flavor. But yeah, elderberry is some powerful stuff. And also, you mentioned garlic. I mean, these are things that, like you said, we have in our kitchen that we don't even consider that it has healing effects.
Right.
We don't even consider it. We just chop up the garlic and the onions and all
Yeah.
this stuff. Purple onions or red onions, those are great as well.
Yeah.
I use those a
Yes.
lot as
Yes.
well. But if you can get
Yes.
some garlic cloves and boil them in some water, you can drink that as a tea. You might feel the heat for a couple of minutes, but the the
Right.
the effect that it has on the body as it flows through all of your respective organs, yeah, it can be life changing depending on your
Yeah.
conditions. And instead of taking something like these over the counter things like garlic and all these things
Garlic.
that are,
What is garlic, Kenny? What is that?
yeah,
Yeah.
you never heard of that? Yeah, garlic. That's
I
something
have
that
heard
came
of
out in
it.
the,
I have.
yeah,
Yeah.
garlic.
And I didn't. I was like, garlic.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what
yeah,
we're doing. All right.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Garlic
And
is
also, I want to mention too, because you're right. Like you said, we have these things in our kitchen. But
mhm.
here's the kicker, Ken, and you can probably relate. You know what we do? We take the garlic, we take the oregano, and then we pour that seasoning salt on it. Lawry's, uh,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's about it's it's about understanding that garlic by itself with that black pepper, a pinch of that makes the
Mhm,
difference.
mhm,
The
mhm.
seasoned salt gotta go. We gotta get rid of the Lawry's. I
Not
love
loud, no
Lawry's, but
Lowry's and no Lowry's and no
no
McCormick,
Lawry's
huh?
no more. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. Oh man. And I mean, I remember them used to days. Those are staples in our communities.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
we gotta learn that we gotta eliminate that extra stuff, that extra salt, that extra sodium, and just
yeah,
go with the pureness of what that garlic is or what that cayenne has.
yeah, 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 yeah. And again, these are such the simple remedies that can be used on a regular basis, if not on a daily basis, for
Yeah.
some of these herbs. These are things that you can literally eat every single day if you chose to. And again, you're not going to overdose on eating too much cayenne pepper, or you're not going to overdose on eating too much parsley.
Right.
You're not going to overdose on any of that. I mean, the body is more intelligent than we give it credit for. Hence the reason why we turn to the pills and the synthetic medication so much, because we've been thoroughly conditioned to believe that our bodies are weak and fragile, and the body has no earthly clue and is too stupid to know how to heal itself. So when we get the right elements, like we've been talking about through this entire uh, broadcast here, simple things that we can do on a regular basis that can keep our bodies up to par. And again, you don't have to be perfect and stress yourself out on trying to be perfect and get this to a perfection. Just take everything day by day, learn what you can on a regular basis, read some of these ebooks that are great. I got some that are great. I got the Manifesting the Mind, and he did something on the circadian rhythm as well,
Yep.
and
Hmm.
101 benefits of black seed oil, which I think is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
101 benefits. So there's so many things that we can do to be proactive and prevent some of these illnesses, or if we do develop these illnesses, we'll know how to best remedy them accordingly with some of the great products that you have. in Gangsta Holistic. So I want to thank you for bringing all these great products to the forefront. Jasmine, I want to thank you for taking the time out to come on the Kinetic Hour and once again gracing the stage with me. Tell everyone how they can find you.
Awesome, awesome. So again, we are Gangsta Holistic on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, gangstaholistic.com. And we have so much more coming. So make sure you guys tune in. Keep up with us. Look for the merch that's coming at the end of this year. Look for the gel CMOS that's coming out in a couple of months or a month or so. Look for all of it. We are still keeping strong and keeping the mission going, keeping it gangster with our health.
Yeah,
Thank y'all.
absolutely. And
Thank you,
thank you
Kenneth,
for
for letting us
that.
up.
Oh, yeah, no problem. And final question for you. I like to ask all my guests this final question here. What does life mean to you?
Life is about serving the purpose, whatever that purpose is. My purpose here, and what I've learned is to heal the people, share the message, spread the word, teach others, guide others, and take in all the knowledge you can to be able to provide that back out to the community. Life is
Mm,
about teaching. Life is about making sure you serve your purpose here in this world. That's what it's about for me, and that's why I'm here today.
mm. Yeah, that's great. Being of service to the people and doing the best that we can to give, just to give. You know, the
Yes,
more information that we can accumulate, the better off we'll be, or the better options that we'll have to
yes,
do more. Like you said, when you know more, you when you know better, you do better.
right.
And when you know more, you do more. You know,
Yes,
when you know
yes.
more, you do more. So thank you
Perfect.
for that answer. And when I go into post production, I'll put all that up on the screen so everyone can know exactly where to go. And
Yes,
check out Jazz. I mean, she's worked really hard in keeping Jason's legacy alive with Gangsta Holistic, herself, her brother, um, her mother, who I got a chance to speak with a few times. And she's great, by the way. And you know, you know, anything that I can do to help, um, and come back to the Kinetic Hour later down the road. You know, because the
right.
information that can be provided, it doesn't stop because it's endless. I mean,
Right.
we can talk about juicing for an hour. You know, we can talk about the heart and the
Yeah,
kidneys and how we can get those to
yeah.
function for an hour. I mean, all of these great topics can be expanded. And so thank you for sharing all of this information with us. Go to gangstaholistic.com and keep Jason's memory alive and just keep this train going with Gangsta Holistic. There's some great products. And check out Jazz. I see her all the time on social media. So she's always keeping that ball rolling. So go to Gangsta Holistic. Go to my YouTube channel, The Kinetic Hour. Make sure you subscribe. Click thumbs up. There's 1,000 podcasts that you can be listening to. So thank you for tuning in to The Kinetic Hour. Thank you once again to Jazz for giving us all this great information. And to everyone listening and watching, until next time.
Peace out.